Hi folks, I was going for a walk not so long ago and there was a crab, tiny little crab, not bigger than this sort of the palm of my hand, and almost stepped on it but didn't, and I just saw, the eyes of the crabs kind of, jump to life, and the claws, I don't know what you call it, of the crab or whatever it is, the clippers, I don't know, just started, the whole thing just flared up, and even raised itself up to try and make itself look a little, the appearance look a bit bigger, I think. And it's like, she's the size of me maybe. And I mean, it doesn't stand a chance. If I wanted to, I could have just squished on it and that's it, goodbye, type of thing. I mean, its reaction was not scary to me whatsoever. I mean, I wasn't afraid, if you want to put it that way. But for a moment, like, I felt for that crab. And I know that feeling. Like, I know that feeling of feeling like so small and so vulnerable. And even if you, like, put your fists up or something, or you raise your voice or something like that, it's like it's not going to make a difference. Sometimes I feel like that in the world today. I feel like that with all that's going on. I feel like that in regards to the unconscious sleeping masses, if you will, and the way that they conduct themselves, and the way that they've built this empire, built this world, this, modern world that we live in. I feel like the onslaught of it often a lot of the time. I feel the noise of it, I feel the energy of it, I feel the insulting nature of it, I feel the advertising of it, I feel the stupidity of it a lot of the time. I feel the insensitivity of it, I do, and I feel like, and sometimes I feel quite claustrophobic, and I've just been traveling, I was in the airport, and, I feel like when I'm on the aeroplane, I can't stand flying. It was only 45 minutes, but like, I just don't like being around people. They're loud. They're just, even the energies, folks, like, I was never like this before, where I could pick up energies, if that's what I'm picking up on. But there's a lot, you just pick up the energies of people, and whoa, it's like, gives me the thrills. Like, as soon as I get to my destination after the aeroplane, I got to like take a shower and get that energy off me. I never, if you caught me like 10 years ago and you said to me that kind of, I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what on earth? Like, what? I mean, sure, I had certain sensitivities, but not like I am today. And I suppose that's what I wanted to talk about is, being sensitive. And it's not just really sensitive, it's actually just paying attention and being aware. I talk a lot. I recently uploaded a video called What Changes Your Frequency? And, you learn this. It's not just something that you are aware of, like what changes your frequency. It's through experience and time and situations that you learn about what changes your frequency, right? And very few people are talking about it, so it's like you learn it on your own, and you do it on your own. Often I'm talking to people in my life about certain things that I see changing my frequency, and I ask them, do you realize that your frequency is being changed by this or whatever it is? Whether it be environment, whether it be food, whether it be stresses, whether it be medication, whether it be dreams, you name it, whether it be traffic, you just might name it, like, a headache, whatever, maybe hunger is another one. Like, are you aware of how these things change your mood, change your thought process, And like a lot of the time they just think I don't know, like they look at me and say, I don't know what you're talking about. See, and that's also like another thing. So it's one thing that you learn these things on your own a lot of the time. If you're fortunate enough to have somebody who you can share with, who is also feeling the same way, is also paying attention, then you can pick up and learn from one another, and it's great. And it can be a lot of fun as well, I think, just sometimes comparing notes. You just realize, hold on a minute, you're alive, I'm alive, we're on this journey, this is what I'm experiencing, this is what you're experiencing. It's like, this is what it feels like, and there's somebody else that's sort of in the car with me, that there's somebody present with me on this. And that's great. But it's a bit despairing when you don't. And again, it's rather despairing when you turn to people and you say, oh, have you noticed this? Like, does this happen to you? And whatever. And they're like, what are you talking about? And you see people being able to put up with a lot of like overstimulation. You see it being them able to like multitask on their phones, walk through the shopping center, have the kid on their arm or whatever it is, choose an item, whatever it is, just the whole busyness of things. You don't see people then really needing to take time out to meditate, to reflect, or whatever it is. Like, you don't see that, eh? You barely, well, not where I'm from, you don't see it. It's unheard of, in fact. It's like, to actually take some time out, like, that's a waste of time. At least you can be catching up on like Netflix or something like that. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, deleting photos from your phone, like selfies, pictures, or whatever it is. It's like, I don't really see people present without their phones, what I'm saying as well. So, but for myself, I'm often like questioning, like, what's so far out about me that for myself I'm appreciating and noticing these things, like, why aren't other people taking stock, or why aren't they being affected? I know they are being affected, but they're not aware of environments, of overstimulation, of stresses, right? Like concerns and worries. I mean, it's one thing just saying, okay, well, I don't understand why people don't ask the question about what they're doing here in life and what's our purpose here, and is there such a thing as life after death? Is there such a thing as aliens? I don't know. Like, they don't understand. Like, fine, that's way too far out for most people, right? To understand a little bit of themselves, a little bit of the ego, a little bit of the subconscious, a lot of the, things, the unseen thing. It's like, they don't understand. But to not even be aware of what is going on in their own minds, or what's going on in the environment, or how they're being affected, just amazes me. I remember that one time I was speaking about my brother. He had a Red Bull, 1 liter of Red Bull. I don't know how much that is in gallons or whatever it is, but it was a lot. It was this huge can of Red Bull, okay? And he said, like, he was so proud when I arrived at his house. He said, "Yeah, man, I finished it like under 15 minutes. And about maybe 20 minutes later, we were going for a walk to go fetch his car. And he says to me, I have these heart palpitations. Like, I wonder what's wrong with me. I'm thinking, what do you mean what's wrong with you? I'm thinking to myself, man, you finished off a liter of Red Bull. Like, in one gulp. Like, surely you can make that. So I mentioned it to him. He says, do you think so? I couldn't believe it. I said, you know what's in Red Bull? And he says, not really. I mean, it's just an energy drink. And I wanted to... Folks, if you've seen that movie, Idiocracy, where they use Gatorade or something, like they're one of these energy drinks for everything. Like, they don't drink water anymore. There's like no point to drink water because this Gatorade has electrolytes in it. So they say, but what's electrolytes? Well, we don't know, but Gatorade has electrolytes. They use electrolytes to water the plants. There's no need for water because it has electrolytes. So that's kind of an example. It's like they don't know shit. So, like, my poor brother doesn't know anything about Red Bull. I'm like, man, oh man. And so that's what I noticed. Like, I realized that people, they don't realize that they're putting on a lot of weight. They don't realize, I mean, here in South Africa we have a huge obesity problem. Huge. I would say at least 1 out of every 3rd person, if not 2 out of every 3 people are overweight. Especially on the women's side, it seems to be. I'll take some footage, folks, you wouldn't believe it. Or maybe you do, depending where you come from. So what I'm saying is that people don't realize that they're even overweight. Okay? They don't realize a whole lot of shit. They don't realize it. Okay? Anyway, my point being is that I'm often just blown away, like how people don't realize certain things. Okay? And how sort of numbed and dumbed off they are. Or just unaware they are. And so for myself, just what I wanted to kind of just also brief on here is that the exhausting task of paying attention to one's perception in your mind. The thoughts in your head. It's like, how often do I realize with myself, and I stop myself thinking about something, or something comes into my mind and I say, that's not me. That's not me thinking. That's a foreign voice, if you will, or something. Now, if you say this to most people, they'll tell, well, then you're schizophrenic or you got some problems, and I'll say, no, you have it as well. You just don't realize it. It's like in that movie Revolver, right, where he says it's in every one of their heads. They think it's their best friend, or they don't even know that it's there. They don't even know the voice in their head is there. Something that's completely not there. I can see it for myself. There's sometimes the stupidity of the things that it says, the sort of worry of it, you know, of what I worry about. Just how sometimes I can even speak, like I can turn what I'm thinking into words, and when I say it I realize, you know, maybe just a bit of a nasty comeback to somebody, or something insensitive, or something stupid that I said, and I was like, well, why did I say that? And then I realized why. It's like, you know, I mean, I'm getting better at it. It happens very seldomly that I actually speak, but it happens all the time in my head, right? Like I could be talking to you right now and I'm thinking to myself, man, who's listening to this? Who's going to listen to you? Who has the time for you? Right? There's some, you know, things like that. Or like, geez, you just blah, 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 you know? And I can, when I'm talking to you, I can know that voice comes up, and sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's very, like, you know, non-subtle. And but I recognize it, and it's exhausting when you recognize it. What I'm saying is that most people don't even recognize it. They'll be like, let's say they're making a video, YouTube video, and they'll be like, man, who's got the time for you? So what they do, they listen to the voice, they believe it, and they go and they switch off the video, and they never upload it, and they never make a video, and they never even start their own YouTube channel. They're about to go and write a book. Oh, I'm going to start, maybe just even write a poem. I'm even going to write a journal. And then the voice says to them, why do you want to waste your time? There's a new show on Netflix that you haven't seen, you know. It's got Dwayne Johnson, you know, and that woman from Baywatch. Oh yes, okay, let me go and do that. And they run off to go and do that. How much time have I got here, folks? You see, now that's a constructive thought. Like I'm thinking, how much time have I got here? You know, that's okay. That thought I can really go with. I'm saying, but that's what people do. And it's like they don't realize. It's like they get themselves a new iPhone, very impressed, very happy, whatever it is. You know, they get home, they see there's an advert for another new iPhone. Oh man, I've got to go and get the new, like, this one's already outdated. Now I've got to go get the new iPhone. So what's wrong with this iPhone? So there's nothing wrong with it, it's not even out the box. But there's a new one, so I've got to go get the new one. You know, someone's driving a nice Mercedes-Benz, first class, brand new, right out of the box. They see somebody with the latest model or different kind of tires or rims. Well, I've got to go and get those rims. I've got to have to get those rims. You know? Where's that coming from? It's not just the mind. It's obviously coming from a place of, you know, programming. It's coming from a lack of substance in oneself, value in oneself, self-direction, whatever it is. You know, it's coming. But what I'm saying is that it's so people are directed all the time. All the time. I see people when I'm sitting at a table, at a dinner table, and they're eating way too much, and they should have eaten. And it's like, I've really overindulged. But you know, like maybe I should have my third helping of dessert. And you can see them, and then their willpower goes like, yeah, I will. Okay, can I have another piece of that apple crumble pie, please? I'm like, man, oh man, man, oh man, have you got no self-control? Have you got no willpower? Right? You're already feeling sick. You're already feeling overweight, over whatever, full, and now you want it, so you got no control. I also see it with men who gawk at women. I mean, I know it comes up in me, like, you know, when a woman is attractive or she's wearing something skinny, whatever it is, or like tight or short, or, you know, I said in myself, there's something that wants to turn around, there's something that wants to gawk, there's something wants to, like, you know, engage, and I try and I say, okay, enjoy, have a look, and then look away, but don't like a deer in headlights, you know. And I just see men doing that, you know. And I see it with men I see it in myself, and then I can see it in others. So I can see where I'm being, something is pulling me, something is thinking for me, something wants to talk for me, and I'm like, and it's tiring, folks. It's exhausting. It's a struggle. It's a constant struggle. Some days is more of a struggle than others. And so what I'm saying is so much to be said, because also there's thought as well. There's your own thought at the same time. I mean, original, organic thought, authentic thought, right? When you're contemplating or something like that, or you're just going about your day, right? And you're thinking about things. You're thinking about life. You're thinking about consciousness. You're thinking about synchronicity. You're thinking about colors. You're thinking about environment. You're thinking about the weather, or like how that's affecting on you. You know, there's a lot of contemplation. I contemplate a lot all the time, too much sometimes. You know, and I'm paying attention in whatever it is. But what amazes me how few other people pay attention. It like scares me. It absolutely scares me. It's like absolutely frightens me. It really does, because they're held hostage. They're under control by some kind of something or other, and they have no idea about it. So there was a few other points that I wanted to mention that I think I've kind of forgotten now. But yeah, folks, it's like sometimes it's hard, eh? Sometimes it's just because at the same time, like, I really wanting to figure out what bothers me. I really, I did that talk about what changes your frequency. Like I said, I'm very interested in what changes my mind, what changes my mood, what changes my perception. Like sometimes I can see it when I'm looking out into the world, and I'll see somebody, I don't know, wearing a, I can see how I'm also programmed, wearing like a very fancy suit, and all of a sudden, or fancy car, and I'm already giving them like reverence. I'm already thinking, wow, this person, like, they're high up there or something, or either they're just really cool, or something like that, Maybe that's not a good example, but like, I just get engaged in the people's masks and how my perception has been. I can see it. It's hard to I'm trying to think of examples now. But I don't know, it can come out in forms of envy or jealousy or something like that. Like I'm supposed to be jealous of, I don't know, like we've been conditioned that way. It doesn't happen to me so much. I'm trying to give another example. I'm saying, for some men, I'm sure they feel very insecure when they see like a very good looking man who's got a very fancy car or whatever it is, and he's just looking popular and he's got a pretty girl in his arm or something like that. Like, I think it's natural in a way, but I also think we've been engineered that way. I think we've been engineered. I can't come up with one example, but we've been engineered in so many ways in our perception. Just when we look at the world, to scan. Like I can see it when I walk through on the aeroplane. I don't know how much time I got. Just cut off any second. No, I'm still doing alright. I realize when I walk through the aeroplane, alright, like through the aisle, through the aisle or whatever it is, and you just see people looking at you, and you can just see they're all reading you. They're trying to see what you're wearing, what kind of guy this is. Is he good looking? Is he not good looking? What's his story? And I can feel it. I can feel we're reading each other all the time. It's like we're all on this fashion runway all the time. We're looking at each other all the time and thinking and whatever, and categorizing and weighing up and analyzing and pigeonholing and we're just giving all of this. Where I see what people are doing. You can feel it like in the airport. I even see when I look at people without sort of critically analyzing, my mind jumps to this and this and this and this and whatever it is, and it's exhausting. And I'm saying it's all perceptions that we've been given to look out into the world at one another, right? At one another. And it's exhausting. There's nothing natural about that at all, I don't think, Have you ever been to these places, or like whatever it is, you just feel, it's like everyone's trying to class you into some kind of class. They're trying to, read you into some, or put you into some kind of class in their mind. They're trying to weigh you up, okay? And it's mostly from a materialistic and superficial point of view. No one's really looking and saying, like, I wonder how they're feeling, I wonder what's going on, or something like that. I wonder what type of person they are. It's all on the surface level. I don't know if that makes sense, folks. But your perceptions, we've been taught what to fear when we look at certain things, what to enjoy with certain things. We've been engineered, damn it. We've been engineered. When we look about certain things will catch our eye. It's that, the sexy woman eating the ice cream on the poster or something like that. So we've been engineered. It's subconsciously we've been programmed, and we look upon the world, right? And we see with a certain type of way. We see a different kind of religious person. We see a different kind, different religion, a different sex, a different age. But we don't actually see. We see it from a superficial point of view, a materialistic point of view, and sometimes a fearful point of view, and whatever it is. So we've been programmed to look at the world in certain ways and act accordingly. And so this is what I'm talking about, is the healing process that we're needing to go through as well. The reconfiguration in connecting to your true essence and your true authentic self, whatever it is, your true spirit, to have no filters. That will have filters in that's needed, but not societal filters, not your rose tinted glass that society and culture has given you, and not to have that voice in the head that's also been engineered and whatever it is, and part of the mind chatter that's also been there and instilled by society and culture and one's parents and religions and upbringing, whatever it is. It's finding one's freedom, folks, in a world that's enslavement. It's a prison, that's enslavement, that's for sure. We're trying to get free. Alright, folks, with that, much love, chat soon, take care.